gentlemen, and guten Abend. Nous voilà encore sur Étincelle. Here we are again on Étincelle, and I'm so happy to be here once more in front of your screen. You know, I'm always chill when I'm here in front of you, and I'm so glad. Monday 8 o'clock we are connected live on YouTube, and it's not just for me but also for you, the community, families, and you know, people across the world. Once again, welcome on Étincelle. So tonight is going to be a night where we're going to be talking about, you know, grief, the invisible pain. But just before we go into the subject, I would like to remind you that we are in so many platforms talking about YouTube, Étincelle. We are on what's it called, Instagram, Étincelle Talk Show. We are also on TikTok, which is Étincelle Talk Show. I believe these are the three main pages where we are also on Facebook for the ones who are, you know, connected mainly on Facebook, but all the shows really live tuning on YouTube. So and if just in case you've missed today, you can always go back and check it out. But please share, tell a friend to tell a friend, because I cannot create a huge audience by myself. I need your help. You are the star of the show, and thank you once more for connecting. I also want to thank, you know, our sponsor, Blé des Dents TV network, who is supporting Étincelle Talk Show in many ways. So I'm going to give you a short little break. Please come back, and so we can finally begin the show. Bien, de retour, as you know, I like to mix French and English. This allows you also to get to know some few points, you know, some few words in French, you know, instead of just the swear words, right? The easy ones. All right, so today, as I said, we are going to be speaking about grief. Why grief? Because this is something that is inevitable. It happens. It's something that is part of us, part of the humanity, part of our journey, part of the things we do in our daily lives. And daily lives, I'll say more like in the seasonal, you know, it comes sometimes unexpected, sometimes we know about it because of, you know, our loved ones that are sick, sometimes that it comes sudden because of, you know, accident, things like that, that really it surprises us. This is the human when it comes to them passing away, and it leaves us really with something to deal with, and this is what we call grief. But apart from just grief itself, when it comes to the human, but there's also this other things in our lives. It could be job. It could be, you know, what's it called? Any other points that I'm going to mention during the show, really that leaves us with a big hole, with something to work on, something to, you know, to deal with, and sometimes it's really, really hard. And someone told me that you don't really, no, I'm gonna keep that for the last. So tonight, grief is our topic, but we are going to talk about the what is it, how it feels like, how grief feels like. We are going to talk about how to prepare yourself, how to find peace, you know, in when it comes to grief. And besides that, can you be prepared? Can you be ready for grief? Can you be ready for this situation that's about to take place in your life? And how quickly can you get over it? Can you be healed? These are all the points that we will mention on Étincelle, and you can even take a piece of paper. Let's talk about it. And if there's any question, honestly, feel free to leave comments, feel free to share, because someone out there needs this show this afternoon, and it's very, very important. So before I dive into the subject, I cannot talk about this without that myself was victim of grief. I know how it feels like. I know how deep it is. So I had to choose really carefully this subject, because it's not that simple and it's not that spontaneous. It is not really easy to sit down on a chair and talk to you guys about grief without going through it myself. You know, I went through myself. I lost my dad 2 years ago, and it is the most, I cannot say it was, because it still is the most painful feeling that I've ever had to experiment. So now, grief. What is grief? This is the first question. Everyone else can define it in their own way. But according to, you know, to my research, grief is simply, you know, involve coping really with loss, death, divorce, the loss of a home, what's it called? A major event that people grieves. We talking about, you know, while everyone else experimenting of grief is different. As I said, everyone else around the world deal with pain differently. You know, you can be the one, you know, losing something, losing loved ones, losing the most precious thing that, you know, you were holding on to. But the way you will be dealing with it, maybe it will be through, you know, drugs. Somehow you dive into it because it's something you never experiment before, because it's painful. It's really painful, right? Another one will be diving maybe in alcohol. Another one will be in sex. Another one will be in God. You know, some people will retract themselves. There's so many ways that people deal with grief, because pain, not everyone can tolerate pain. So the next thing is that everyone experiment grief differently, but there are common response that can be useful to recognize if you are facing loss. Whether grieving or supporting a loved one, practice patience as you work through this difficult time, right? This is grief. Grief is really something. It's this pain that you cannot see. It's not like I'm gonna stand up right now and start beating you up and leave you some marks on the face, and you know that now someone hit me up, or maybe there was an accident that you were involved with and you came out with a broken broken leg, or with a brain injury, or so for concussion. All these things honestly are not it. But grief is a pain that is inside, that you are basically, I'm gonna say this, holding on to. It could take a year. This could take 5 years. This can take an eternity. This can take you till you die, honestly. So it's sometimes a decision where you say, I'm letting go, or you say, I'm not letting go. I'm still taking it with me because I love this person so much, and if I let go, that means somehow I never care for this person. So there's a lot of thoughts into this. There's a lot of ways to deal with this invisible pain. And often when we take this in, our next step could be marriage, could be work, could be what's it called, when you meet people in our lives, when you encounter a new journey in your life, because of that pain, it completely transforms you. This completely changes you. It changes your way of doing things. It changes your way of seeing people. It changes your way of acting, reacting, speaking, feeling. All these things. It's like you become either numb or too sensitive, or it really plays in your emotions, in your physical aspect, in your spiritual aspect. It takes all of you. It really takes all of you. And sometimes what happens is with grief is like, if you don't deal with it today, it will catch up with you. Whether you like it or not, it will really catch up with you, and sometimes not in a good form. When I say good form is I don't mean in a way that it is good, but it could, certain things could be prevented in a sense. But because you didn't deal with this grief, it will basically put you in a situation where it could be better, or it could be less tragic in a sense, right? So continue. Today I have a few pictures, and if Regie can really help me out with this, because we're all different, and sometimes these pictures can define how you feel today. I don't know exactly what's happening with you. I don't know exactly how you feel today, and maybe you've just lost someone. Maybe you just lost your job. You just lost your company. You just lost a child, a baby. Maybe you just had an abortion. Maybe you're going through something that that no one can really explain, that I personally cannot even put words into it. But Etancelle is here to remind you that you can come from somewhere and go somewhere. Meaning, in everything that we do, whether it's grief, whether it's difficulties, whether it's trouble, whether it is not understandable in the eyes of being, honestly, there's always a solution for everything. Sometimes even silence is the solution. Sometimes it takes you to stand up and actually speak to someone in order for this situation to be finally resolved. And sometimes it happens that it takes for you to connect on Étincelle in order to hear a word of wisdom, a word that will calm your spirit, that will calm your mind, that will calm you in order to come out of that situation. So please tune in, write down. I would like you to feel at peace right now, because even the music down that is literally at the background is putting me at ease. It's just placing me in this zone where I need to breathe in and out, right? So I would like you really to do that right now. If that's how you feel this morning, this is how you feel this afternoon, this evening, please just close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out as we are going through this show of Étincelle. Today, tonight, I would like to touch your heart through this show. As myself, I've been victim of this situation. As I said to you, one of the points that can cause grief is, you may be losing a friend, family member, could be a partner. It could also be a pet. Pets are our friend that we take on board in our lives, not to reject them. When I'm talking about pets, it's mostly in the Western society. We deal with animals differently than in other places, Africa or maybe Asia or so forth. So for the animal lovers, and you feel like, hey, I've lost my dog and it's been really some time now, somehow I can't seem to find another friend, an animal friend, in order to go with me throughout this journey. That means that somehow there is this, your heart is still broken and you are grieving, you are still hurt. The other point could be that it's maybe a marriage, marriage, friendship. When we're talking about marriage, these are relationships, that we engage ourselves with. You say yes to somebody that you love and you believe that this is going to be it. Like, I'm going to go till the end with this person, until death do us apart. And somehow your partner catches cancer. From maybe day one you knew about it, so somehow you will lose this person. Or maybe suddenly, this man or this woman, this person that you love so much, suddenly it just happens that they start suffering from lungs, from heart, or from anything else, and it's just like it doesn't even give you enough time to prepare yourself, to lose this person that you love so much. Could be a friend, could be someone that you grew up with from a childhood, someone just close to you, or someone that you work with. It's been now 20 years, 10 years, a year even. Grief is really something that takes all of us. It doesn't choose whether it is, from race, whether it is just because of your mentality, or whether your background. It doesn't mean, it's not even about that, but it's about you losing someone that you really love, and it hurts. It really does hurt. The next point is, it could be your home, where you grow up. I remember it's been 2 years now that I've lost my dad, and going to Congo made me also realize that apart from my dad, I've lost also my childhood home, where I grew up, where I saw myself running in and out, playing on the sand, on the ground. I remember my dad used to chase me for something that I did. Probably I can't remember, but I have these memories that come in and out of my head, reminding me of the things that used to happen back home. And honestly, like, it really hurts. And to now finding myself not in my hometown, my home country, but also losing my home, that was really, really, really difficult. And it happens that situation that we go through in our lives, you end up losing your home. Maybe it was burned. There was an accident. Maybe there was something bad happened in that home that you had to leave. But this is the place where you grow up, where your memories are, your childhood memories, and these are precious. These are things not to lose, you know. So apart from that, we're talking about neighborhood, the community. Sometimes you're forced to come out of that community or come out of that area where you grew up, and forced to, you know, to fly to travel somewhere else, and you find yourself really grieving a lot. Why? Because these are your best friends, the people that you love, but unfortunately, because of war, because of civil war, because of an accident, an incident, something happened that you were forced to leave. It was not even your decision. It was somebody else's decision forced upon you. Today we have the civil war in Congo DRC between Rwanda, you know, because of the mining, because of the gold, because of all these resources, and they are forgetting, you know, the people who are causing war, they are forgetting that lives is involved, and memory is all we have sometimes. And when we create bad memories in someone's life, it will take them till they die, unless something happens in their brain and they freeze. I know someone like that who went through such a, you know, difficult time, and it caused her from, you know, to freeze all kinds of memories that she had in her mind. And till today, she's still wondering that, you know, when there's our flashes coming to her, she's wondering, like, is this really true? Is this what really happened? You know, grief is really something disturbing. You have financial stability, you know, you were in a very, very good place, maybe a millionaire, you know, you were so good, and you were born in this wealthy family, and something suddenly happened. Gradually, maybe your parents knew about it and you were not even prepared because you're a child, or maybe you yourself, you saw that coming, or maybe you didn't, right? And then it just took everything with you, finding yourself outside your home, outside, you know, on the street, begging, you know, living this other life that you were never prepared for. So many people are going through it day by day. They are grieving, they are regretting. Why did I do this? Why did this happen to me? Why was I not more you know, wise? Why was I not prepare myself for this situation? Why did I not listen to my mom or listen to my dad when they told me so? Why did I not listen to my wife or my husband? You know, these are all the things. Grief is this voice in your head that is also reminding you of the faults that you did. So you keep on carrying it. It's like this big stone, huge rolling stone that you are, you know, going with it up the mountain slowly but surely. And this really, really hurts and is really heavy, you know. So you need to really consider. I'm really coming towards you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, regardless of where you may be found today, is to touch your heart. I would like to open. Sometimes in order to deal with something, you need to touch that wound. Touch it. You know, is it real? You need to touch it. You need to touch it in order to feel it. And sometimes, like, as soon as you let it go, the pain that you're feeling is not as sharp as it was, right? So maybe I'm opening a wound in your heart, in your mind, in your brain, and maybe that's because you need to deal with it. I'm coming towards you for you to deal with grief. Next thing I have is a dream or a goal. You know, finally you came to accomplish your dream. And we all have dreams around the world. Every single one of us, we want to be a star. I always want to be a movie actress. I love acting. I love to sing. Being in front of the screen, you know, being an A-list, that's one of my dreams, honestly, to be honest with you. And hopefully one day it'll come to pass, and maybe not. But there are certain people that they really achieve their dream, and because of one contract, because of one incident, because of something small, big, it really threw them out of their dream. From now regretting, asking themselves why did they do that, why this, why that. And it's really sad. Sometimes you find your dream man because of one incident of something that you did or you said. It happens that you lost the dream man, that man that you asked God to give it to you. Finally you have the man, but because of your attitude, because of the way you are conducting, you end up losing this person, whether it is a woman, whether it's a man, because of a stupid sorry to say this, action. You end up losing your soulmate. And this is real. This is really real. The next thing, these are all points that I'm mentioning, so you can really reflect on all that along with me. So we have your good health. You know, sometimes it happens that we take bad decision for ourselves. You know you're not supposed to be drinking. You know you're not supposed to be smoking. You know this is going to affect, you know, your health, but because of your surrounding, maybe because of your family background, maybe because of this and that, there's so many reasons that you yourself, you know the reason why you got into this. Maybe it was peer pressure, maybe it was this, maybe it was that, but you took the decision. But at the end of the day, sorry to say this, but at the end of the day, whether it was peer pressure or not, it's still a decision that you take in order to, you know, to do what you did. You know, it's still a decision that you took. So now you're grieving, now you're hurt, now you're regretting. How to fix it? How can I come back to my good health? You took the decision. Let me put it out there. You took a decision to change your sex. You took a huge decision to change your body, to change the size of your bottom. You took a decision to make your breast bigger. I don't know, you took a decision to go under the knife, knowing that there could be some complication here and there, you know. And these are all important things to think about. But now you end up losing, you know, your leg, or you end up losing your lung, you end up losing this, you know, and you put yourself in jeopardy. You jeopardize your life. Wow. Next point. Our next point is fertility. And this is a big one because we live in this society where it's a 50-50 thing, you know. We have the religious side that is telling you don't go through this surgery, don't have an abortion. On the other side, if you don't have it, then maybe you'll be carrying a child that you never wanted by a rapist, by this, by that. There's so many things that we can say about that in this world, because we know the person sometimes, but we don't know their heart. We know people, but we don't know their heart. So what they can do to us, sometimes we carry our father's children, sometimes we carry our, women are carrying their brother's children, and for a decision that they were not even involved with. in the first place. Apart from that, you know, you were in this marriage for so long, and finally you got this child. You're pregnant, and you end up losing this child. Not that you wanted to lose this child, but it happens that you lost. And since then, you've been grieving because that was your dream, to finally become a mother. It's difficult. It's difficult. And you've been holding on to it. You're an African lady from an African background, and from the ones that I know is often we love to keep things in our heart. We don't really like to share. It's the ones that, you know, the Western society, we often find, you know, ways to speak to someone. Oh, there's a therapist, or that, you know, we go to see a psychiatrist, and there's all these things that we have in our hands. But sometimes back home, if we speak about it, is difficult, because someone can be reporting it to someone, this and that, and they start calling your name. They can, there's just a lot of things, a lot I can say, my God. And grief can kill you. All right, so I'm gonna give you a short little break. So when we come back, we're gonna dive to the other points and see how it feels like. I mean, we started already. How and can we be prepared for grief? Apart from that, how quickly can we get over it? And the last point, can you heal? Can you heal from grief? Regie, see you in a minute. I have a short little video of 3 minutes. I'm gonna ask Regie to play this for us, and this is from Nipsey, this amazing artist. I'll say humanitarian because I don't know who didn't love him. And his beautiful wife, who ended up losing him for an accident, a gunshot. So for anyone who really are still relating to this show, take this time to watch, and hopefully this will inspire you. This may do something to your heart. Yeah? All right, Regie, this is you.
On the night of April 2nd, I had a dream. I was in a paradise, and I was in paradise, and I was playing in the ocean water when Aramis popped up right behind me. He said, "What up, killer?" Because that's my nickname to him. I turned around and I yelled his name and I gave him a hug. Shortly, he was gone, but it was still cool, I guess. So when I told my mom about the dream, and after I told her, I was thinking about it, and I realized that Aramis told me what heaven was like. He told me it was paradise. So in the morning, Aramis would say respect at the window. So on my count of 3, I want everybody to yell respect. 3, 2, 1. In memory of Aramis Askedom, August 15th, 1985 to 2019, March 31st.
She doesn't want to. I love you. Thank you. Say thank you. She's just like thank you. It's okay. You can do it. You can just say I love you. Just don't be here. You don't gotta look at him. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us.
I don't want to.
I love you, Daddy. Say I love you, Daddy. You want to say I love you, Uncle Nat? No? Say I love you, Uncle Nat. Say it. Okay, you did it.
You did it.
Okay. Give the kids some love. They're a little nervous. Thank you.
Et oui, nous sommes bel et bien de retour, and with the short video of Nipsey, you know, the day that he passed away. I'll say the memorial, the last day where his wife and the children say goodbye. This really, when I start putting this show together, this actually remind me of her, and possibly how she's coping. And she's actually the perfect person that I would love to have on the show in order to talk about grief. And so any other person who has or is going through grief and all the points that I've mentioned, honestly, feel free to contact. I would love to have you on the show in order to talk about this experience and how you are dealing with it. Actually, the picture that I mentioned, please do not put it. I'm gonna say something else. So we are continuing on. We said already what is grief, and we are going to dive in just a little because I kind of through the show I've been mentioning how it feels like. So I remember I went to Congo for the first time, and I met someone that I call a friend. I'm gonna mute his name, and he's someone that is really in a higher rank when it comes to the Congolese Christian artist. So now we were talking, and I mentioned, you know, how I was feeling, you know, how's my family and so forth, and how I was doing when it comes to my dad passing away. So now he told me how it is an endless pain. You know, people tell you that it will get better. That's why he said, quote, that people tell you that it will get better, but it never does. And now that I am in this situation 2 years after, I get to experiment exactly what he said to me, which is true. It never gets better. It actually gets worse. Day by day, It's like you're sinking day by day. You wondering how you're gonna do it. Day by day, this person isn't there no more. Day by day, you can't feel this baby in your womb growing no more. Day by day, you're missing the smell of your home. Day by day, is and I mentioned all this point. Maybe this is how you feel right now. Day by day, it doesn't get better, but it actually get worse. And if you are with me at this present moment, receive my hugs, receive my biggest hugs ever, because I'm there with you and I know exactly how it feels like. So now you can be right now going through stages, because grief has stages. Yes, and I really want you to understand that grief has stages, and maybe stage of denial, wondering, is this really happening? Because I spoke with somebody when it comes to grief, and I had to get a testimony, something from her, and it was not easy, because this person didn't want to talk about it, because it's that deep. It's not always easy for someone to sit down and actually tell you exactly what's happening with them, because that's the true them. Like, that's opening a wound that it's already closed, maybe, or maybe not, but they are completely refusing. So what they say to me is like, it was a shock. For her, it was a shock. It was something that whoa, was happening, and maybe this is how you feel. The next thing for her, it was like, what to do. I am the eldest of my family, and maybe you are maybe the youngest, but for her, she was the eldest, and she didn't know what to do. Like, what is the next step? What to do? And we need to organize the funeral, and all these steps, this administration side of it, or even just how to gather people, what to do, to who to speak to. These are all the things. Sometimes it crosses your mind, and sometimes you find yourself also, and this is not her, but sometimes you can find yourself in the space of denial, right? Denying the situation. And sometimes the situation, but because you are the eldest, because you are the father, because you are the mother, you still need to take responsibility of the situation. Right, this is me talking about you losing someone that you love, and it's the same thing actually when it comes to everything else. Losing a home, losing a job, you need to still stepping up and being responsible of the situation. Somehow it's like, okay, no, where is my maturity? I need to step up in a different field right now. What to do right now? What is it that I need to do in order to somehow fix the situation, if it's fixable? Grief, right? And so what she told me also is maturity is very important. Maturity, even when you're grieving, you still need to be mature, because certain action that follows after can really take you in the wrong places, and so you need to step up. And I don't know if you are mature enough, and maybe yes, you can tell yourself, I have an excuse to mess around. I have an excuse to do all these things, these bad things. I have an excuse to drink. I have an excuse to mess around with women because of the fact that I lost my dad. Because no, I feel like still in this situation, yes, give yourself some time to rest and to breathe in, but do not forget to still be mature. Apart from that, when it comes to the emotional side, well, she wasn't really able to speak to me about the emotional side, because that is really her opening her heart to me. But maybe one day I'll have the full testimony of her talking about this situation, this grieving. But maybe this is you right now. Your emotional side is kicking in because of the fact that maybe, anger is rising up. You can't seem to control your anger. You can't seem to control your uncontrollable tears. You keep on crying, and you don't know how to stop. This impulsive side of you is stepping in, and you don't know how to deal with it. Maybe you start becoming so, rude to people, and you don't know why, but it's because your heart is in pain. This anger, you don't know to who or to where to direct your anger. It's a difficult place where to be. From anger, from denial, to anger, from anger to bargaining, from bargaining to depression. And today you are sinking in. You're really sinking in, and you don't know how to come out. You don't know who to turn to. This is the time to really realize that my heart is in pain and needs help, because you do not want your heart to let go. And finally, and maybe after a year, after 2 years, and maybe after years, will come the step of accepting. And this is very, very important. When you are at that stage of accepting the situation, that's when somehow the healing start happening. That's the beautiful part. Although it doesn't feel beautiful, but at least you're there. At least you pass all these other stages of your grieving, of your loss. Accepting that my house was burned, accepting that I've lost all the money in gambling, I've lost my wife, and I lost the people that I love the most. All these things are acceptance, because from there you can move now. You cannot move down, you can only move up, because from there you need to tell yourself, I need to find peace now. I need to find peace. But before diving into the peace point, I wanted to touch on, can you be prepared? You cannot be prepared for grieving, because like I said to you, grieving comes in different shapes, comes different in different way, because we're all different, right? So your grieving is not going to be your friend's grieving. Your grieving is not going to be your wife or your husband's grieving. Your grieving is not going to be your brother or your little brother's grieving. So it's important to understand that we deal with issues really differently, all of us. And then how quick it can come? It can come really quick, and like it can come also really slow. So it's really depending on the circumstances, your life, how you're managing your situation. Sometimes you are the one who can provoke this situation to come really quick because you're not doing what you're not supposed to be doing. It's really important to understand that. And now the place of the peace and the place of the healing, right? So now I think next time I'm going to bring a woman or man of God in order to help us to understand really this pastoral care, because there's a word that someone really brought to me and say, there is this pastoral care, especially, when you are in the hospital, there's this place where we call the chaplain. You can still actually go in the church, pray if maybe someone is dying, or someone is in a surgery, someone is going through a tough time, or maybe yourself, you feel like you want to connect to the divine. You can still actually find a small place where you can, connect to God. So now this peaceful place, how to find it with the grieving? Some people, they tend to go through that stage somehow by themselves. Why? Because they needed time. Time is a healer. Do not rush it. Don't feel like, because it hurts so much, I need to quickly come out of it. No, because grieving takes time. As much as it can come quick or even slow, it takes time. It takes time to reorganize certain things in your life, to replan things, how to move forward. Grieving it takes time to acknowledge the situation, to accept the situation, to go through the stages, and to finally be, you know, to find your feet finally on the ground where you're walking to a better place. To a better place. Sometimes it takes you to find, you know, a friend to who you can confront yourself to, you know, to lean, have a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes it takes you to, you know, maybe to travel to a different country, maybe just to go on a holiday. Sometimes it's just so many aspects, and sometimes, please do not reject this, but you need people around you, a community. You need a family to accept that this situation is gone, but I still have them. You know, yes, I've lost my child, but I lost my pet. I lost the most beautiful and dearest things of my life, but still remembering the little things. You know, I was looking at one of the shows of Steve Harvey, who is one of the biggest comedian, you know, American comedian out there, and he's actually really funny. And what I appreciate with him is the realist, how real he is when he's giving an advice, you know, when he's comforting somebody. And often he does it with, you know, the spiritual side, like this religious side, because he's a Christian man, and he say it out loud, right? And so when it comes to grieving, or when it comes to really going through a situation, he always mentioned the name of God. God is sometimes is the person to who you can never doubt. When you're going through grief, turn yourself to God and let God deal with something that you seems not to, or you can't seem to deal with by yourself. And just remember that you're not alone. That God is in control. All right. This is actually our first part when it comes to grief, because I believe at this present moment there's a lot of children who are passing by. There's a lot of situation in families that are untold, still taboo, but the people that we love deserve to be cherished. And sometimes this topic is really sensitive, and myself, I believe I can speak about it right now because myself, I went through it, but also I believe that somebody else can help me, you know, to uncover, to open up this topic a little more wider in order to give you a solution. So Étincelle is here to let you know that you can come from somewhere and go somewhere. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, despite of the situation. And what else I wanted to say is that nothing can stop the sun from rising. And I heard this not long ago. Nothing. There's nothing that can stop the sun from rising. That was actually from one of the shows that I was watching. And that really inspired me, just to let you know as well that nothing can stop you from rising, despite of what you're going through, whether it's grief, whether it is, you know, a loss, whether it is, I don't know, God is the way it is. Trust the process. Be calm in a storm, and believe that things will get better. All right, so we are at the end of our show, and I was very, very much pleased to be here once again in front of you in order to inspire you and to give you a word of wisdom, you know, to calm your heart. I don't know, whatever you may be going through right now. We're still in April, you know, 2024 is still there. So let's meet up next week at the same time, 8 p.m. with myself, your host, GRACIA SUSUZANDE, aka Sucre d'Or, and I hope to see you soon. Please share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's create a much bigger audience. So shout out to every single one of you, and also to Oblédédain TV network for your support and your encouragement. Take care. Bye bye for now.